Alright guys, so we're almost at the end of our journey here. Our last demo for this project will be setting up the elevation sheet. And so, I don't know if you recall, but these elevation marks were way outside. And again, if I go to my floor plan view, and if I crop the view, they're gone. Well, I kind of like seeing my elevation mark on the floor plan sheet. So that way when the contractor is reviewing the floor plan, they see where the elevations are going to be. So on my floor plan, I'm going to turn off crop view so that I can see those marks, and I'm going to bring them inside my crop view line. So I'll have one in here, I'll have one in here. Where did this one go? Oh, I jammed it in here, so I'm going to put one in here, and then I should be able to crop my view, and lo and behold, this one's here, but I lost all three, and I shouldn't have because it was inside the box. And this may happen to you guys, and this is how you fix it. The problem is when I move here, I'm going to uncheck the crop view. When I move this, when you click on this arrow, it tells me where that line is. So this elevation line, which is basically my picture plane, if you will, is behind it, and it's behind this line. So I actually have to move it forward. But a couple of other things, this line's crazy long, and what you want to do is, if I select another kind of subtlety, when I click on this, please take a look at this. Right now it's floor plan because I have nothing clicked. But if I click on this arrow, it turns into my elevation. So all these settings are for my elevations. All right. So a couple of things. I want my elevations to be 1/4 inch. And most importantly, you want to hit crop view. If you hit crop view, you get this kind of big giant box. So that allows you to adjust it. So I only want to see elevation from here to here. And really, technically, I don't need to see it this deep in because I just need to see the walls. So it's going to show me anything here up to here. So let's go take a look at this elevation. Double click on that. And there you go, right? Hold on one second. And then the elevation's not showing to the top, so I need to adjust that. And to adjust that, you have to understand the roof comes up to here, right? The roof plan. But this elevation's only cutting here, so it's only showing part of that roof. That's why it looks cut off. So my fault, but you want to probably stretch this guy out. Even if you stretch it all the way through, that's okay because you're not going to see anything except that front elevation. So there you go. So you have set up the first elevation there, and this one, if I select that, my cutting line is somewhere back here. You want to get it close to that elevation, and then don't forget to turn on crop view so that you could adjust it. And then in this case, you don't see the clipping line because I said no clip. But if you say clip, let's see, without line, then you can do that, right? But if you do no clip, it'll just show everything to infinity. So, but in general, for general practice, I like to use my clipping line so I can control what I could see or what I want to show and not show. So now you can see that elevation. And here, let me go to the floor plan and crop the view and see. So yeah, so now I can see, I can see all three of these because let's say this one is, but again, I need to adjust that. Yeah, so you get to see all these little subtle quote-unquote mistakes, and then you guys can all learn from that. And in this case, I won't turn on far clipping, no clip, and you'll see that it just shows all the way to infinity. And then the last one, on the floor plan properties, I will uncrop for a while so I can just see that. And sure enough, this guy is here. Crop view. And I'm also going to say no clipping because I don't want to have to adjust that box. So now you've seen a couple of different techniques to setting up your elevation, and now all four of my elevations are set up. So you'll notice that these boxes are still very empty, right? That's because we haven't placed these elevation views onto a sheet. So I do not have an elevation sheet at the moment, and I think we're going to name it A401. So in this example, we're going to create a new sheet to print the blueprints, if you will. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can take an existing sheet, right click and duplicate, and you're going to say empty, right? Because you don't want to duplicate the sheet itself, but you just want to create another sheet. So you can do that, and then it'll say that, and then it'll say copy, but it has nothing. Then after that, you can just simply click on that and just type 4-01 is what we're naming it. Dot the period, and then this is going to be elevations. So now I have a sheet called 4-01 elevation, and just for fun, if we go back to the site plan, it shows up on that automatically. So every time you create a sheet, it'll show up automatically. Again, that's the beautiful thing about Revit. Where were we? Okay, another way to create the sheets is to right click again and just go new sheet. And then when you go new sheet, it's going to ask you what kind of title block. You guys already have a title block, which is this guy right here. And you just say new, and then it gives me another sheet, right? So now I have 2 extra sheets. If you don't want the sheet, you right click and you just delete it. Alright, so we have an elevation sheet here, so we're going to drag all 4 elevations in. 1, 2, oops, that's okay. I know what's happening. So I have all 4 elevation here. This, if I click on this, remember we changed it to 1/4 inch, and I guess we forgot to change this to 1/4 inch. So no big deal. You just change the scale, and voila. I like you guys to be a little bit more careful than I, like definitely try to line it up and then pull it straight across. Put the labels in the right location, make sure that they're lined up. The cleaner your drawing looks, frankly, it's a reflection of who you are and how much care you put into your drawings. All right, so again, just for the sake of demo, I'm not going to sit here and try to line it all up, but in our studio, I do expect our guys to be a little bit more cleaner when they produce working drawings. So what's really interesting is that it's on page A401, and drawing number 4 is called the west elevation. So now if I go to my floor plan, drawing number 4, and it's on page A401. So this gets automatically populated once I start placing them in the sheet. Again, back when I was hand drafting, I'd have to place all of those things by hand. I have to remember where I put the drawings, which sheet it was, what's the number of the drawing. So Revit is pretty amazing. Let's go back here to the elevation sheet. One more just kind of basic concept. I believe on the drawings, this part of it has kind of a decorative wood siding. There's multiple ways of kind of doing that. You can make a wall material and then paint it and all that good stuff, but let's try to stay simple and just do a really clean one. And also on these elevations, I don't mind if these things were like pulled back so that they don't like draw any unnecessary lines. And also some of these things I could hide, right? Because really what's important is where's my first floor, where's my second floor. Even the roof is probably not as important, right? So anyhow, again, it's selective, subjective, whatever you guys want to call it. This is also one of those things where I'm not sure if the grid lines are excuse me, grid lines are actually applicable. So I may just select all that in the view and just hide it, right, so that it's cleaner. So of course you'd have to do it on all the views. So in here, if I double click on it, I'm actually in the drawing or in that view itself. Of course I can draw detail lines and draw things across, right? So that's one way to do it. It's probably not the best way to do it, but that's definitely one way to do it. The best way to do it is actually have a material. Again, that's a Revit class. This is a Conda class. But in order to draw that texture in, I'm probably going to do it with a region fill in this particular case. And I'm just going to use these as my reference. And I don't know if I really want to get in here. It might look crazy, but let's just see what that looks like. So trim up all my lines. Another line here. From here going up. So I have my my region, and then the hatch that I want is going to be like a horizontal line. And let's see what that looks like. There you go. So that's interesting, but it actually covered over my railing. Part of that is that in Revit, when you do a hatch, it's like a sticker that you're putting in front of everything, literally everything. And so I can't really move my railing out and show it. But another way to do that is to go back in here, and you see where it says masking for that horizontal line hatch. I'm going to take that off, so meaning let me see through it. And then there you go. So that's how you can kind of detail out if you need to draw some fancy lines, put some texture. Please don't forget to call out all the materials. Go through my canvas. I'm asking you guys to call out and identify all the material, identify finished floor, call out the roof. One more thing, slope. We want to show the slope of the roof. So you want to basically be able to tell the contractor, hey, this is at a certain angle. So you can see how everything's kind of grayed out. That means I'm actually in this view, north view. So it's equivalent to coming in here and opening this view up independently. And then you want to come to annotate. You want to go to this slope, and you want to be able to hit this line. And then, oops. And then now I could just kind of, so that's telling the contractor this is a 4/12 pitch. So you want to definitely show it there. And that should be brutally obvious, right? I don't think I need to put it there, but I think that should be enough. If I close that and go to my elevation sheet, you can see it's already there. It's all linked and tied together. And so, yeah, that's looking pretty good. So finish it out, guys, and hopefully you guys can package the 4 sheets together. The site plan, the floor plan with all the schedule, and the keynote. Oh, we do need to do sections. So I'll be back. See you guys next time.